guys, what's going on? Liam Jenkins here from Philly Sports Network, bringing you a slightly different type of video today. Now, for those of you who are thinking, wait a minute, this isn't preseason content, don't panic. There's plenty of Eagles coverage coming soon. We've got 2 podcasts coming this weekend and plenty of articles over at phillysportsnetwork.com. So there's going to be as much as your hearts could ever desire over at phillysportsnetwork.com. But this is a slightly different video. And I wanted to talk about preseason in a broader sense because preseason football is back phenomenal. We had a week now, we had the Hall of Fame game, and now we've had the first full slate of preseason games in the books. And what a night it was. There was plenty of entertainment, whether it was Nate Sudfeld's bombs, whether it was Saquon Barkley's runs, or even one of the younger quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield singing a dart or 12. There was plenty to see. The problem was that it did highlight a slightly worrying area in the NFL, and that is the development of the backup quarterback position. Now, when you get to preseason, it's very easy to see why someone such as Doug Peterson, from the minute he walked in 2016, wanted to develop that backup quarterback. The idea being that when the backup gets ready and either takes over the team or moves on, you've got someone there. And last night showed that if we got to, let's say, the playoffs and Carson Wentz, God forbid, would get injured, is Nate Sudfeld ready to take that jump just yet? Maybe not. Maybe it's not as close as we thought, but it did highlight a much broader sense that the quarterbacks in the NFL who aren't starters, who aren't veteran backups, don't get the development they need. And the reason, quite simply, is that it's not enough snaps. When you look at the regular season, it's 16 games. If you go up by 30 points, brilliant, you may get a series or 2 if you're lucky at the end of it. But if not, you're exclusively on the scout team, and those 4 preseason games are the only live contact in an NFL-based scenario you're going to see. Sure, training camp and OTAs are great when the pads go on, but it's very rare you get a live game scenario as a quarterback where you're calling the play in the huddle, you've got the audience around you, you've got the stadium pressure building, you've got that pressure of needing a game-winning drive. You're not going to get that. And especially with the younger quarterbacks, the guys that have maybe, someone like Josh Dobbs, for instance, he came in very recently and is now sat behind Landry Jones and Big Ben. I mean, Nate Sudfeld will be another example. There are a couple of other quarterbacks around this league who fall into that category. So what do? Like, where can they go from here? And I think the answer is that the NFL needs a development league. And everyone says they point back to NFL Europe and what a failure it was, or the NFL EL, which is National Football League, European League. Okay, cool. I still don't understand how that league folded, spending $30 million a year. If you gave me $30 million to run a football league, in a year, it's a year, $30 million, you could build stadiums for that. You could build a whole country, probably. Right, the point is, it's very difficult to see why that would fail if the vision wasn't there. And I think that the problem came down to when it was first introduced, the audience wasn't quite there. England didn't get enough coverage of the NFL. European countries were very similar. And if we look at things like this, where there is a ball being presented by an elephant, I don't know what else you're going to expect. I really don't understand. A lot of people then point to the CFL, which is its own thing. I don't think that'd be, you know, it's its own sport. You don't want that to associate with the NFL and essentially become a D-League that is going to knock its reputation. You've got the XFL coming in 2020. A lot of people are intrigued by that, but quarterbacks struggling to hang their hat. What can the NFL do between now and 2020 to get something happening? The answer's simple. It's to start a new league using practice squads. Now wait, Liam, there are only 10 players in a practice squad. How will they ever form a league? You expand it, alright? Think of an undrafted rookie who comes into the league and his realistic shot of making the roster is long. It's a very big mountain to climb. If he doesn't make it and he's unlucky, he'll catch on to another practice squad. He'll then hang around there for a year and try the next season. If that doesn't work out, he goes to another team, tries that season. If that doesn't work, try again. And before you know it, the eligibility on the practice squad runs out, and it can be a very dark path, considering these guys aren't on the wage of, you know, the starters and the franchise guys. They aren't on the wage of even backups. They're on very minimal contracts that when tax gets factored into the equation, it's as if you, or maybe not me because I am broke, but most people in that scenario are gonna struggle. Alright, it's a very common way, so to speak. So what I would propose is that instead of having a 53-man roster, you take that principle, and instead of a 10-man practice squad, you expand that to maybe a 25 or 30. Alright, so you can field a 7-on-7 team. You can go 11-on-11 if you want, doesn't really matter. But if you're losing $30 million a year, I don't think that, you know, less players the better for you. Actually, less money to worry about losing. Well, where's that gone? Where has $30 million gone? But back onto subject, we're not bitter about this. NFL Europe was great. What it did do was develop some fantastic NFL talent. Doug Peterson, many of you don't know, was in NFL Europe. Kurt Warner, many of you don't know, was in NFL Europe. Other players include Dante Hall, one of the baddest guys of all time, James Harrison, starting quarterback Jake Delhomme. There has been and even Adam Vinatieri had a little spree in the NFL European equivalent. Alright, it happens. There was a lot of good talent that came out, and that was the entire principle of it, and that has been lost. So now, if you're on a practice squad, like one of those undrafted guys, there is no league round competition. You've got spring league before you catch on. That's it. It's just scout teamwork over and over again, which is fine if you're with the organisation, which is fine if you're competing for roster spots, which is fine if you're even a depth guy on that 53. If you're on a practice squad, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to make your mark, to stay consistent, to make that impact, and it is going to naturally have a big impact on your career. So what this idea would do, in essence, is expand the practice squad from 10 to around 25 to 30 players, which means that teams can now carry, let's say, 80 players on a roster. So for now, players who are coming out of college and debating, you know, should I go a year early? Should I go back to college? Am I ready for this mentally? Physically, they may be. Mentally, they may not, and we see that quite regularly now. This would give them a platform because not only are the windows of opportunity that much bigger, because there aren't hundreds and hundreds of players being cut at the end of August, it's now just maybe a couple of hundred as opposed to what could have been 10 times that before. Is that you've now got that window of opportunity where experience will come. You won't get into the NFL, stick on a practice team and just do scout work for a year. You've got an organised series of football there. So how would this work? So every team has a practice squad where they would take with them to games. So let's take week 1 for example. The Eagles play the Atlanta Falcons Thursday Night Football. So on the day before that game, the Eagles practice squad would play the Falcons practice squad. The divisions remain the same, the schedules remain the same, the postseason, the playoffs, the Super Bowl, although the Super Practice Squad Bowl Super Trophy, maybe a better name, £30 million. So essentially those practice squads will play. So Eagles practice squad plays the Falcons practice squad. On a weekend, I'd be inclined to put it on a Friday. Have maybe the Eagles play whoever on the Friday, or whoever play, whichever two practice teams want to play will play there. It keeps the logistics nice and even. It means you're not going to have one team up here while your B team goes down there and then it all going a bit messy. You can literally format it so that your practice squad play and then they play another practice squad and then come the big games at the weekend. So why is that important? One, it means that it gives coaching staff that extra level of responsibility. Maybe you've got quality control assistants who are dying to be coordinators. That's their dream job. Maybe you've got positional coaches who are dying to get a promotion. It's an elevation platform for them. They can get in, coach games and begin coordinating offenses. Two, it means that you've got organised football throughout the year, more tape to break down. How is anyone on a scout team expected to really make an impact with the coaches if all he's doing is scout work? Devontae Borsby, for instance, had a fantastic season with the Eagles on the scout team by all accounts. He gets to preseason, he's rusty because he hasn't played a proper snap in like a year. It's the exact
it's all about the Claymores, and we're taking it home tonight. It's going back to Scotland, baby. It's going back to Scotland. We're taking it home with us all the way back.
300-pound defensive tackle wanting to flatten me with every inch of his mentality? No. No, I couldn't. And that's the thing. Anyone can throw in OTAs. Anyone can look good in 10-10-10 practices. Anyone can look good when the plays are scripted. Can you do it in a live game situation? And for many of these guys, preseason is the only opportunity they get. So by adding a practice squad league, it's the same team. You're running the same schemes with the same coaches, with the same teammates. You just get to actually play against other NFL talents throughout the year. It gives players a bigger platform to show what they can do. It opens up opportunities. You can still have the same rules about being signed from other practice squads. Makes it interesting. If you've got the league leader in receptions and you're without a wide receiver, bang, well there comes all of a sudden an undrafted rookie has a shot who is match fit because he's been playing in a practice squad league all season, who's ready to go and knows the playbook because it's been what he's been doing for 3 months. alright? This doesn't just end at quarterbacks, it is the whole league. It's every single position. You look at guys that they're just drafted into the wrong system, it's not going to be right for them, and it sucks, and it can really have a negative influence on their career. But if you give them a platform where we look at the world today, alright, how much of live sport is streamed? NFL have Game Pass. You've got leagues across the world, like the XFL, I'm sure are bound to do a subscription-based service, who want to do things by having it on your phone, having it on your tablet. We live in a world where instant gratification is everything. You want everything on the palm of your hand. If you can get home on a Friday night and you've got that sleeper rookie running back that you fell in love with before the draft, and he's playing a defense that's really quite good on paper, I want to tune in. I want to see my draft crushes and what they do. I don't want to just go, oh, do you know what? Oh, he's on the practice squad. Well, see him next year. I think one preseason then gets condensed into that. It doesn't need to be as long, which means teams can focus much more on preparation and not feel the drag of a game 4 where not many players want to play in it. And it just opens up a much better, brighter, youth-embracing league where kids can get home on a Friday or a Saturday and there's football on. The NBA D-League is similar. It wouldn't be done to this degree. I think the NFL have a real opportunity to create something unique, to bring more jobs, to bring more players, to bring more spotlight to the game, and to bring, frankly, more publicity to a sport that's dying out for the next big thing. And I think if you've got more players competing, you've got quarterbacks getting in-game reps throughout the year, you're not going to see a night of 18 interceptions. You're not going to see a QB4 go into a game and go, great, here we go again. It's a really big opportunity, and if they don't muck it up, it could be fantastic. So NFL, if you're listening, call me, alright? I'm all ears. We can discuss this in person. But let me know what you think, guys. If you've liked this video, please do leave a thumbs up and subscribe. It means the world to me. Thank you so much again for 2,000 subscribers. Let's try and hit 100 likes on this video. If we can hit 100 likes, I'll bring up another rant tomorrow, and we'll promise it's Eagles related. So 100 likes between now and tomorrow. I'm Liam Jenkins. I'll see you next time.